going as we move forward. This is just super exciting. Our inaugural class for Leadership FLAEYC. You are pioneers as we're moving forward with this. I am Holly McPhail. I'm the one that has been emailing you, talking with you, getting you psyched and prepared. And I do have my special treat that I promise I will show that the other trainers don't know about, and hopefully you guys brought yours as well. A little bit about me. I've been with the organization FLAEYC for, oh goodness, about 14 months now, but I am no stranger to early childhood. I'm having a background in home visiting services, but I'm super excited to be part of this and go on this journey with you. I will be kind of holding your hand the entire way, your primary contact between classes to introduce you to all of the trainers and all of that. So if you ever have any questions about content or any of that, I'm always available to you and just am super excited to spend the next 6 months with you. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our fearless leader, our executive director, who has served as an inspiration to me over this last 14 months as we've worked together. And I just want to kind of share one story about Chris before I know. It's okay. When we started down the conversation about diversity, equity, and inclusion in the early childhood classroom, I asked her at the kind of early on in my journey, is this something that you're just doing because it's trendy? Is this something that you just want to invest in because people, are talking about it? And the summer after George Floyd and all of that just kind of impacting us, everyone was really talking about DEI. And she said, absolutely not. And she proceeded to tell me a story about when she was a child care center director and some of the things that she learned many, many moons ago. And I knew then that I had landed in a really good place and that the heart and the commitment was there. And I felt that I was able to pour into this organization and now pour into each of you as we move forward. So Chris, Executive Director, please take the stage.
Thank you very much, Holly. I greatly appreciate it. And the secret about Holly and I is I talk about full circles. I actually met her when her children were age 3 and 4, maybe long time ago, when she was a mother struggling to find a place for her children. And I was the ELC executive director here in Tallahassee. And she was fighting for her children. And it was a very profound fight she was going through. And then I came across her, so many years later and said, you got to work for me. This is what we got to do. And so I'm delighted she's with us. Full circles are always exciting. Like she said, I'm Chris Duggan, I'm the executive director. I've been with FLAEYC now for, I guess, 4 years. I've been in the early childhood field for way longer than that, probably about 35 years, and have been doing this with a passion and really want to make a difference. And so we're delighted we are here. I've also been hoping that sooner or later we would have a leadership course. This is something I researched before I was at FLAEYC to see if Florida would handle a leadership, course for early childhood people. And I am delighted that I found Holly who would put it all together. I was able to give her my vision and then she made it happen. So here you guys are, and I really appreciate it. The thing I know about leadership, and I think you're going to find as you go through this, is leadership is not a position. You're not a leader because you're executive director. You're not a leader because you are the director of a center. When I ran the coalition many moons ago, there was a wonderful woman, Barbara Thomas, and she had been there. She had come from a center and she worked for me. And I regarded her as a leader. She answered our phones, and her job was to make sure everybody who called the coalition felt respected, felt valued, and she was a leader. And we made sure she got leadership training, because leadership is you. It is your skills, it's your ability, it's the way you see things. We all hope that we can make better positions, that we can move on up. And I value that, and I understand that certainly. But I want you to know, from our perspective, leadership is who you are. And Florida, Lord knows, we need leaders. We need people who are fighting for our children and our families and making a difference. FLAEYC's vision or mission, however you want to say it, is to ensure that all children have equitable access to high quality education. Well, we're putting our money where our mouth is. Finally, we're saying, if we believe that, what are we doing to make that happen? And one of the things we're doing to make that happen is this leadership course. That if we sow the seeds and we get leadership out there, and you are our leaders, and you will get other people to become leaders, and we all will start making sure that children, no matter where they are, what their families can afford or can manage, they do have accessibility to be in the highest quality early education care programs possible, because that's what we need to do to ensure our future. So I am very delighted that you have jumped in and you are going to say, yes, I want to do this and I want to be part of all of this. And we're going to learn from you. By the time it's done, you're going to say this worked well or this didn't, and then the next class will be even better. And you'll become mentors for those people. So you have started something by being here tonight, and we greatly, greatly appreciate it and value you. And I love looking at the future leaders of FLAEYC and everything. And I greatly appreciate you committing to be involved with this. So thank you. My job next, I believe, is to introduce Crystal, who has shown up there. And I see our guest speaker sitting down. I'm going to try to ignore her for a few more minutes. I'm so excited she's there. But Crystal's here, and she just took her children to get some dinner real quick, and she got on here to say hello to you. So I want to hand you over to Crystal. She's going to be one of our main speaker this summer. You're going to get to know her very well. I first heard her at the conference last fall at the Thursday session we had on diversity, and was just blown over by her perspective on diversity and equity and inclusion. And I will tell you, one of the things I really appreciated about her was her practicalness about it. It's not this big broad stuff up here about diversity and equity and inclusion that we all know about. Is how does it come down to the children in the classroom? How do you take this broad concept of all the things we need to do, and we make sure that that little boy, that little girl who comes into your classroom is feeling valued, is feeling like they belong, that their family culture belongs, that the way they see the world belongs, that all those things are important. This is what she was about. And I heard her speak about that on that Thursday. And we knew we needed her here to be part of this. So without any further ado, I'm going to hand you over to Miss Crystal and let her say a few words of hello, and this is who I am. Take it on, Crystal.
Thanks, Chris, and thanks, Holly, for inviting me to join in. I'm happy that you put me up first, because at some point in time, a kid or a puppy is going to crash through this room. So putting me up to speak first is really, really ideal. But like what was mentioned earlier, my name is Crystal Morris. I am the founder and CEO of One Caring Adult. So fun fact to start off with, there was a study done a few years ago where they did a canvas of students in middle and in high school throughout our country. And about 55% of those young people said that they don't have one caring and supportive adult. So these are kids that are coming from two-parent households in affluent zip codes. They're coming from the foster care system. They're coming from juvie. They're coming from everywhere, right? But 55% of kids said they don't have one caring and supportive adult. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, because I'm extremely passionate about creating positive childhood experiences. So we need to know what the negative ones are first. But for any person who've experienced at least one trauma incident, there was a positive, caring adult that was in your life that caused you to end up on this call today. For me, it was a third grade teacher who stalked me from third grade all the way up till I graduated high school, because she saw more than just my trauma story. She saw potential, she saw value. I taught the way she taught me. I parent the way she parented me, because she parented me, y'all. I did all of that infused by her influence in my life. And I moved to this country. I'm Jamaican by birth. I moved to this country and I learned so much more than I ever thought I would have learned. And especially when it comes to what we're going to talk about for the next few months, when it comes to diversity, equity, inclusion, and creating a space of belonging. So I want to preface this by saying, You will feel some feelings of shame and guilt in the training. I will not leave you there. This is not a shame thing. This is not a blame thing. This is not a political thing. But I do understand when we hear these words, they're tied to political language. This is a human thing and this is a moral thing. And if I know anything, it is childcare professionals and educators you love more than anyone in the world, because you're willing to deal with our kids when we don't want to. That is, we didn't send them to childcare for literacy. We sent them to y'all because we want them to live, and we knew we couldn't do it without you. So I want to be open and to let you guys know that I see everyone in this room as good, everyone in this room as well-intended, everyone in this room as leading with a heart of a mother and a grandmother when you go into these classrooms and into these buildings to serve in whatever capacity you serve in. But like anyone else, we all have room to grow. So we get to spend a few months being extremely transparent. If you couldn't tell by now, I am an open book. You're gonna hear all my stuff. You're gonna hear my biases, you're gonna hear my strengths, you're gonna hear my heartaches, because I wanna create an environment where we get to share and to learn. So we'll explore trauma, we'll explore bias and injustices and how that perpetuates trauma. We'll talk about some statistics that are true for childcare centers, and how to safeguard your centers from being these negative statistics, but to be model spaces for Florida to have that we can boast about. I don't know if anyone else is annoyed by the concept of Florida man, but I hate it because the news always picks the worst representation of Florida. And I want to create a platform for you guys to show up, to show what Florida is really about, and how we love on our children and how we're investing in shaping trajectories. So we'll spend time talking about the content. We'll spend some time looking at policies and viewing them from a lens that might not be what we've grown up to see, so that we'll understand some of the feelings and some of the hurts that are tied towards standard operating procedures that we probably have, and just not understanding fully the impact of. And then we get to co-create something for you to mentor next year when we welcome in the second group into the leadership cohort, so that you're setting this great foundation for us to truly transform early childhood spaces. I know you've probably seen our governor signed in some new legislation this week to impact and to support early childhood. You guys are the foundation of every adult. It starts in early childhood. So I'm extremely honored to be able to work with you and work alongside you and growing and stretching. I welcome your comments. I welcome your questions. I welcome your curiosity. But more importantly, I welcome your connection as we create this really important space for our young people. I think I said everything.
I am so ecstatic. Thank you so much for the great introduction, Crystal, and laying this groundwork. One thing that before we go into those in-depth workshops that will start in June, they will be the second Friday of every month for 4 months, all day long, and you're going to be with Crystal. Yes, it's going to be virtual. It's going to, I wish that we could all come together in person and have these workshops. We are going to be able to do this virtual, and she's going to lead us through that. But before we get to those workshops, we want to lay some leadership foundation and some concepts that Crystal is going to be weaving into those workshops. And each of those webinars are going to be provided by a series of our trainers. So some of the faces that you see here today are in fact your colleagues that you're going on this journey with, and some of the faces are our trainers. And so before I have all of our participants introduce yourself, I want to ask each of our trainers just to super quickly introduce themselves. They'll go into a more in-depth bio when you have your time with them. And so I'm going to, Chris is actually going to be your first trainer on Friday, but then next week, next Wednesday, you're going to be with my dear friend, Shwanda Barnett. The floor is yours.
Good evening, Holly. Thank you. And good evening, everyone. It is such an honor to be involved with this inaugural class. You all are the pace setters. You're going to set the trend for what comes next. And I'm just happy to be a part of that process. Next week, I'll share more about my background. But what I want to say tonight is that after years of working in administration for DC Public Schools, which is a pre-K3 through grade 12 school district, I have formulated the belief that early childhood educators are superheroes. I don't know how you do what you do. I could never do what you do, but I am so, so grateful for each and every one of you. And so I want to say that when we spend time together next week, I want us to spend time identifying your superpowers, tapping into those, and using them to help create your personal leadership story. I'm really excited about the work we're going to do together, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you, Shwanda. Super excited to have you part of this. Next up, we have Flora from Sarasota.
Hi everyone, Shwanda. I think we're all going to be using the same word, superpowers. That is on my syllables, the vocabulary that I chose. So I'm so happy we're on the same page to start. My name is Flora Oenig. I am originally from Mexico City. I've been teaching in Florida, in Sarasota County, for a little bit over 30 years. I am the director of the 40 Carrots Family Center. And I can't wait to be with all of you so we can learn together, find out who we are in this journey as professionals in the early childhood world, and to get to know you all better. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Flora. I'm going to turn the mic over to Emmy Lou down in Miami.
Hey, hello everyone. Good evening. It's so nice to see everyone and smiles, and it's just awesome to see our special guest. And I just want to say that I want to start with a quote from Ty Howard that says, "The task of leadership is not to put passion into people, but to inspire and elicit it, for the passion is already there." So the only thing we're going to be doing is bringing it out, and we're going to be sharing it. And like Crystal says, we're all transparent here. We have a lot to share. I am a Cuban by birth. I'm very loud. I'm very fast. And I enjoy sharing all my past and all my heartaches and everything we've been through to get to this point. So I'm excited to take you through our leadership courses for FLAEYC. And thank you, Holly and Chris. And I'm going to share with you how to connect and continue to encourage your staff to have a culture of excellence.
Ooh, I'm excited about that one for sure. Our next trainer after Emmy Lou is going to be Raquel.
Hi guys, tough show to follow here. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you for including me in this series. I'm extremely excited. My name is Raquel Diaz. I also talk fast. I'm also Cuban. I'm also from Miami. My daughter, my granddaughter actually goes to Emmy Lou Center, full circle. She was throwing Emmy Lou a tomato and throwing her kisses earlier. I work for the University of Florida with Early Learning Florida and other professional development opportunities. Ooh, I see people clapping. Yay. Woo. Glad you like it. And as you stop, I see what you're doing, Billy Ann. You're next. This is my turn. This is Gatorland now. But basically, everything I do is because I believe in the power of collaborative wisdom. We do everything through a community of practice. You will be doing this through a community of practice. And a community of practice is the group of ongoing professionals getting together around something they're passionate about. Crystal mentioned that there's going to be points of discomfort in a group that you really have the conditions of trust and safety. You will learn in those moments of discomfort, and you need to be in those moments to learn. So I loved what Crystal was saying, and I love that we're going to have a session here about how to be a community of practice amongst yourselves, how to develop community of practice as leaders. And one amazing thing is communities of practice empowers your professionals in your building or in your centers. So community of practice is a DEI tool in itself because it has equity of voice. Speaking of voice, I've been talking too long, and I guess it's time for Tallahassee people to talk. Go ahead, Billy Ann, but I think Holly's going to introduce you.
She's prepped and ready. I was going to say, and now we're going to swing to the north part of the state, but I see you, Cammie, saying that you're a Gator grad as well, and we won't hold it against you up here in our Seminole land. Go on, Billy Ann.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Holly. And yeah, I'm a very proud Seminole. I apologize for my voice, and hopefully in a few weeks my voice will be fully back. I currently work for the Florida School Boards Association, where we represent each of the public school district school boards of the state. So I operate in the K-12 space primarily, but I have a long history with early childhood education. I have a mom who is an amazing early childhood educator and director for over 30 years. And so I have a lot of respect for the profession and insight there. I'll be talking to you guys in a few weeks about building strategic partnerships. And so, the way we look at it, especially in my day-to-day, is building a pre-K through 20 system and beyond. And so I really look forward to hearing some of the challenges that you all have and talking to you all about being innovative in maybe fundraising efforts or strategic partnerships within your communities to provide that equity and service that we want to have for all students. I know we all the board members, we give ourselves a little, razzing from here to there, Gators, Seminoles, north and south, but we're all looking forward to you guys being a part of our leadership community as well, and excited to be a part of this panel in the coming months.
Awesome, thank you so much. Now, we do have one more special guest, and I'm ecstatic that she's here with us. But before we have her, before we welcome her to the stage, I want to give each of you, our program participants, the opportunity to share and introduce yourself. And we have something, all of our program participants, hopefully, if they got their emails and followed directions, a little special something planned for sharing with all of our trainers to show who we are about. Now, because this is a leadership class, I am going to first take volunteers, even though we are on Zoom. Normally, I'll just go through and I'll call on you. So if you would like to go ahead and jump in and go first, just press unmute and take it away. How about that for some pressure?
I don't mind going first.
All right, Katie, let's do it.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name's Katie Collins. I currently live in Windermere in Florida, so I'm right next to Disney World. I can see the fireworks from my front doorstep. Hi, Deborah. I'm the only member of my family who doesn't work for Disney. So I've been in education for 16 years. Obviously, you can probably tell by my accent, started over in England, moved over to Florida 13 years ago. So I've been a classroom teacher for 16 years. And then 1 month ago, I stepped out of the classroom and I am now head of quality assurance for FLAEYC Florida, which is, I'm sure you all know, community coordinated care for children. I am missing the classroom a little bit, but I feel the most amazing opportunity for me to grow as an educational practitioner and as a leader. And, what we do at FLAEYC, we have over 1,000 children that we cater to. So I'm inspired by them every day to provide the highest quality I can for them. I joined this FLAEYC program, obviously, having just stepped out of the classroom into a leadership role. I'm excited to make new connections, for all the support I can get. I'm just ready to learn, for the next stage of my educational career. And something about me, something interesting about me, I hope, it could be very boring. At the end of the day, when I get home from school, from work, to unwind, I like to cross stitch. So I try and do a little bit every day. And I've got one of our guest bedroom is actually a library, but one wall is given over to my sewing. So that's something about me, something I like to do to stay sane. So
I love it. Thank you so much, Katie.
So welcome. Thanks for having me.
This is exciting. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Miss Deborah. All right, Dominique, you're on deck after Miss Deborah.
Okay, I also right now is coming from FLAEYC, coordinating community for care for children. I've worked in the Head Start arena for 32 years. I began as a parent, and that shows you just how important our jobs are with parents in our community, because I could have been on the other end. I worked very hard through learning each step of the way, getting more education, and I'm just finishing up my courses for my PhD now. And I'm going into retirement very soon. However, I'm not going to retire. I'm going to go into other phases. So right now I do trainings. I do a lot of trainings. I do coaching. And I'm also very privileged to work with the Early Learning Coalition with their Baby Institute as a parent trainer. So I have a lot of different jobs I do. So I'm a DCF trainer. So I'm very busy is working with teachers, parents, and the children, which is a real picture. I've worked for 5 counties in Florida in my 32 years. Polk County is where I started. And Harrisburg County with the Migrant Head Start program, which was very, very meaningful. And now I've worked with the Child Care Partnership Program, which we put up 33 classrooms in Osceola, Seminole, and Orange County area to partnership with the Early Head Start program. So we've been working very hard. I brought this because this is something that I grew. I got an award from the regional Head Start as professional development, and this was nine. I first got the Florida Professional Development Award, and then I won the regional, which is 9 states. So I was so proud of this because I worked so hard, and I think that this is what really helps our community. Is professional development, advocacy, and just nurturing our children in the field.
That is so awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I am elated that this is going to be a give and take process where we learn from one another for sure. All right, Miss Dominique, you ready?
Yes. Congratulations on your award.
Thank you.
I'm Dominique Burnell. I've been an early childhood educator for 14 years. I've always worked in low-income centers. It's my passion. I came from a low-income family. I did not get to go to preschool. So it's in my heart. It's my passion. I work in Pinellas County right now in St. Petersburg, Florida. I currently work at our club. My center is called Lou Williams Center for Early Learning. We're a site that we teach others, basically in the field, do what we can. And I'm a toddler teacher in a Head Start classroom. So I work with 1-year-olds. They're my passion. I like to start from the beginning because I'm the first person that gets to teach them. And I think it's really special to set the foundation. I joined this program because I hope to lead others in this field. Everybody at my work's always like, you inspire me, you do this. And it's like, that truly means something to me. I would like to be a trainer or a coach one day, or even a director of a center. I'm a huge advocate for early childhood also at my college, St. Petersburg College. I just graduated with my AS degree in early childhood, and this summer I'll graduate with my AA to get into the bachelor's. And my interesting fact is that I'm married to my middle school sweetheart. I've been married for 10 years this year, and I got engaged at Disney World, and I'm a big Disney freak. So yay, Katie, I think that's awesome. I wish I lived near Disney.
You can come and visit.
Yes, I would love that. I used to be a pass holder, so I used to go all the time before the pandemic, but not anymore. But nice to meet everyone.
Awesome, welcome. This is super exciting and super fun. We're gonna keep going. Do I have any volunteers? All right, we got Jenny coming up. All right, and then Judy, you're gonna be on deck, okay? All right, Jenny, take it away.
Okay, I'm Jenny. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not too good with the technology at all, so hopefully I won't click out of this meeting like I did at my daughter's school meeting. I'm also in Pinellas County. I'm in St. Petersburg also. And yep, I've been in early childhood. I know. I've been in early childhood ed for, I guess, about 20 years. I went to USF, go Bulls. Yeah. I'm a director at Allendale Children's Center, and let's see. So that's where I currently work. I'm the director. I am currently finishing master's degree number 2 in special ed, and am applying for my PhD program by December. So that's part of why I wanted to get really involved with this conference. Probably going to spend the rest of my career presenting at conferences. So this is really exciting for me to be a part of FLAEYC. I did the virtual conference for NACI in the fall. I also took a really great course on leadership last semester also. So this is just very exciting for me. My passions, my area that are important to me in early childhood are inclusion. I will be going for special ed, but I'm really on the challenging behavior area, the pyramid model, early childhood mental health. I know we talked about that a little bit. I think Crystal did. And so, yeah, Crystal, about the whole, early childhood mental health. So that's really, I think, something that's really important. There's a lot of child trauma out there. And I think it's important that we as educators really look at children, learn to look at children through, a trauma-informed, practices. And I think that's an area that we really also need to concentrate on. That's just starting to pick up some momentum. I actually just had a student this year whose father died by suicide like 3 months ago. He's age 2. So, for us to be able to look at those things and to, work with his family and so on and so forth. These are things that are happening all the time. So we definitely need to start looking at that. Let's see. And then my special thing, I think you saw my special thing. She's kind of running around playing now, but I have 2 naked cats. I have 2 Sphinx cats, they're naked. And I have an 11 and a half-year-old daughter, so she'll argue that those are her cats, but so I'm the crazy cat lady on top of everything else. So nice to meet everybody.
Nice to meet you too, Jenny. I'm going to take this opportunity just because it's the perfect segue to tease out something that you're going to see tomorrow morning. This summer, we are going to do FLAEYC is going to do a series of pop-up summer summits around the state. There's going to be 4 of them, 1 in Panama City, 1 in Tampa Bay, 1 over in Satellite Beach, which is in Brevard County, and then 1 down in Miami. I mentioned this because it's exactly about what Jenny just talked about as it relates to infant mental health and the social emotional competencies of our children in a post-pandemic classroom. As more and more centers are prepping, well, I know probably your centers all stayed open, but as more and more are prepping to reopen this fall, including a lot of our VPK classrooms around the state in conjunction with school districts, we know, because we've stayed open, that the behaviors that we're seeing in the classroom have been increased dramatically by COVID and by the pandemic and by some other things. So we are super excited to partner with the Florida Association for Infant Mental Health to bring our keynote speaker to 4 different neighborhoods, if you will, in your backyard. So for those of you in Pinellas County, we're going to be actually in Pinellas County at the Oldsmar Public Library. So we're super excited, but stay tuned, or you get a sneak peek tomorrow morning. You'll be seeing information about that in your email. And with that, Judy, the floor is yours.
My name is Judith Behrens LaRue, but I do like to go by Judy. I moved to Florida in 1993, and I lived in Pinellas County, and that's where I began my Florida career in early childhood education. My actual career started in Buffalo, New York area, where I began when I was 14 as a teacher's assistant. And I guess that's 48 years into the field. And the reason I wanted to jump on this opportunity is because I'm getting older too, and I want to be able to step myself up as a leader. And when I'm not able to do the duties in the center anymore, I am a VPK director at a small preschool in Palmetto. And I am also the coach and mentor at the school. I've got 2 of my staff now going for their CDA. So I will walk them right through it and follow them and make sure that they have the support that they need. And I live with my husband, and we'll be married 6 years in July. We don't have any children. Our child has 4 legs. We have a Shih Tzu. And I don't know if you can tell by the back, the room that I'm in, but I'm a crafter. I picked up crafting again. And I've got a dream box. It's full of crafting supplies. And more recently, I started to color again with alcohol markers, learning to blend. And I also am a close to my heart consultant. I make cards and scrapbook pages, and that's me. I did just get my in the mail. It was late. I got it in January. Too late for my mom to see, but I got my EDS in educational technology.
Congratulations. That is awesome. Thank you for sharing, Judy. I can't wait to see some of those cards and crafts in person one day.
Yep,
all right. Perfect. All right, who's going to be Darian go next? All right, Camilla. Hopefully I said that right.
It's Kamala.
Kamala, okay. I will make sure to get it right next time. Thank you.
That's okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Kamala Holmes Gordon. I am a lead teacher at Early Head Start. Hi, Miss Debbie. I have 3 children, 2 girls and a boy. The oldest is 7, the youngest is 2. So when I leave the center in the day, I feel like I come home and do it all again. I was really excited for this opportunity because I've just started being a lead teacher, and I guess sometimes I'm not the most outspoken person. So I think this will help me a lot to communicate with my partner a little bit more. And I've been in the early childhood education field on and off for like 13 years, ever since I was in the 11th grade. What I really want to do is to be a QA, which is a quality assurance specialist. Since I came to Head Start and found out about the position, I am very interested in it. And early childhood is my passion. I brought a diaper and something else because I initially thought that we were supposed to say what connected us to early childhood. So I'm still gonna share. And the diaper, every time I change a diaper, I smile because I remember the first time when I was in high school and my school offered an early childhood program. And one of my friends asked me if I'm gonna join. And my first question was like, am I gonna have to change a diaper? And she was like, yeah, girl. So, you know, every time I change a diaper, I smile because now at diaper changing time is like so excited and one of the most engaging time because you bond with the child or, you know, so. I also brought, this is my associate's degree and in early childhood education. This really means a lot to me because at one point I didn't feel like I would ever go back to college or be more than just working in a daycare. And after I had my daughter, it motivated me to do more. And so I went for my my degree. Now I'm working on my bachelor's in early childhood education. And I'm hoping to do my master's because I have a passion for it and I want to specialize in children with disabilities. So I hope to learn as much as I can. And I'm open, and that's just me.
Congratulations. It's so cool hearing about the journeys that each of us are on. Thank you so much for sharing. I mean, like Crystal said, yeah, okay, superhero, let's go. This is great. All right, we have a couple more who would like to go next.
I'll go
I got
ahead.
Miss Sharon, all right.
Good
And then
evening.
Tammy, you're on deck.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, you have the floor.
I am just humbled by some of the stories I've heard. And for Kamala, keep going. Even though you have those 3 kids at home, it is still possible. I earned my PhD with 2 children. So keep going. Even though I live in Winter Haven, Florida, I work out of Tampa at King's Kids Christian Academy. I've been in early childhood for approximately 5 years. My background is in higher ed, post-secondary, but I think leadership skills have no boundaries. It does not matter where you work, the skill set you can take with you from one place to the other. I'm currently the Director of Administration. I got quite excited when I heard one of the presenters say that she would talk about how to network and build meaningful relationships. I've been tracking the legislation coming down from the federal level for the American Jobs Plan Act. And there is a huge chunk of money in that legislation for early childhood. Why did I join this program? I want to know more about Florida NAEYC. I want to know more about the specific skill sets that leaders need in early childhood. And I'm a continuous learner, which brings me to my last sharing. Food and books are very important to me. I made a commitment to school at a very early age because the food was good. And then secondly, there was a library at that school. So the food captured my heart and the books bound school to my head. And I'm not very good about talking about myself because it's all about the team from my perspective. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of this inaugural group.
Thank you for making the commitment to be a part of it and being here. This is super, super exciting. Kami, no, did I get that right? Kami. Okay, you're up.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kami Hughley. I am located in Broward County. I live in Coral Springs, but I was born and raised in Fort Lauderdale. I have been in the early childhood education sector for 7 years. I started out as a Head Start teacher in Prince George's County, Maryland, teaching 3-year-old English language learners. And then I relocated back home to South Florida and also taught Head Start 4-year-olds in Broward County Public Schools. I currently work as a literacy specialist for Florida Reading Corps. So Florida Reading Corps is an education nonprofit. Oh yes, Coconut Creek is around the corner. As a literacy specialist for Florida Reading Corps, I work under the umbrella of Reading and Math, Inc., and we exist in 12 states plus Washington, D.C. And so as the literacy specialist, I support 39 AmeriCorps members who are paid volunteers to provide quality literacy and math interventions in preschools across Broward County Public Schools and Miami-Dade County Public Schools. We're in about 25 schools with various Head Start and VPK programs, as well as a few early learning centers. I decided to join this program when I saw it a few weeks ago on my morning walk. I became so excited because in looking for professional development opportunities, they seem to be very broad, but since it seems that my career trajectory, I'm on the path of remaining in early childhood education, which is my passion, particularly literacy, like early literacy is like my heart. I'm finding myself in spaces at work where I'm being included in more conversations about early learning. And I want to make sure, outside of the training aspect, that I'm more well-versed in other areas of early childhood education. So when I saw this opportunity, I was like, this is exactly what I'm looking for, because leadership isn't about a title. And that's something that I used to think. In reading, I think the book is called The 360-Degree Leader, I learned that leadership is about how you care about your work and how you carry yourself and how you do your work. So I'm really excited to be a part of this inaugural group. And one interesting story, fun fact about me, I consider myself a serial napper. I love going to sleep. I love taking naps. I try to, as I'm getting older, I'm noticing the need for rest. It is becoming more increasingly important to my life. And so this is, when I saw this face mask at Target, it says #adulting. I grabbed it immediately. And it's so funny, my husband and I, we don't fight over it, but sometimes he thinks it belongs to him, but it's actually mine. So I really love this face mask. I enjoy resting and taking naps. I can fall asleep, to the dismay of my husband, almost anywhere. He takes pictures of me whenever I fall asleep, especially when we're traveling. Well, pre-pandemic when we were traveling. So this is my little object that I absolutely love, and I get nervous if I think I'm gonna lose it because it means so much to me.
Hopefully you won't be needing it while we're, in our classes and in our workshops and all of that. But Crystal, be warned, if it pops out, it shows up, right?
I'll be on the lookout for sure.
All right, who else? Okay, so I'm gonna ask for volunteers, but I'm looking at you, Miss Terry.
Okay. All right, my name is Terry. I live in Boynton Beach, Florida. I work for the West Palm Beach School District, Palm Beach County School District. I'm Head Start, BPK, lead teacher, department lead. I guess a little history about myself. My first degree was in education. I taught school for 2 years, many, many, many years ago. And then I left and went into community services. So I've had background working for the YMCA as well as the Housing Authority in Atlantic City, New Jersey, relocated to Florida in 2002. Wanted to go back into human services because that's where my passion is. Wasn't successful, decided to go back into education. I taught 3rd grade, 4th grade, and high school at risk youth, and been teaching pre-K Head Start now for the last 9 years. And the cycle has turned around where I've seen the high school at risk youth that I've worked with, bringing their children to my classroom. So that's pretty exciting. I didn't know if I was supposed to be, or, oh, I'm getting old. But anyway, it was cool. I recently just completed my 2nd master's in leadership. So I'm really excited about that. I'm not a graduate of any Florida schools. I'm a Texas girl, and I also got my last master's from Grand Canyon University. Let's see, the reason I'm here. The reason I'm here is because I've had one of our school board members reach out to me and asked if I was interested in helping create a collaborative of private childcare providers in this area. And so and I had already started, I'm a part of NACE and all that great stuff. And I said, well, this is a great opportunity when I saw the leadership come up. So I hope to learn some more skills on how to engage our community, how to get parents more involved, how to get our resources. I do understand the red tape to a certain extent, but I do believe that there's a way to make sure that our children and parents get the resources they need. I'm so excited about the new legislation that's coming through. I just want to make sure that I'm aware of how to explain it to the community I work with so they can access those services. So one of the things I love doing, I love working with my hands. One of the things, I was virtual all through the COVID, and I just went back. And one of the things I was fearful of is I'm a touchy-feely person. I love my kids holding me, and they took 4 weeks, and now they're saying, "Oh, Miss Robinson, I love you. Can I hug you?" And Lord knows I can't say no. So, so I've gotten back into beading. Kind of keeps me calm, and I am a television freak. I don't tell anybody any story. I love watching television. So that's it. And I am married, 7 years, working on it.
Congratulations. I love the hugging piece. I think that one of the worst experiences I had in early childhood was when a kindergarten teacher said to my son, he went from this great early learning facility where it was very play-based and hands-on, and he felt supported and loved. And he went into this kindergarten classroom, or maybe, yeah, it was kindergarten. And she was just like, "You hug with your eyes." And I had such a hard time with that, and like immediately went to administration and was like, "Guys, we need to talk."
Right.
It's not my thing. So collectively, not including our trainers or our special guest, just you guys. Wait, we make sure, did I miss anybody? I don't think that I did. Is there somebody who has not spoken yet? Okay, all of you here, perfect. You have over 200 years combined, just the 9 of you. And we have 2 more that are joining us, hopefully that aren't here today, but just the 9 of you guys have over 200 years in early childhood classrooms. And I just let that sink in. 9 leaders in our state committed, and each one of you said, "My passion." Each one of you used that word, "My passion is early childhood. My passion is in the classroom. My passion is working with the kids. My passion, literacy," whatever it was around helping young people and communities and perpetuating our belief and our mission that early childhood education is in fact the foundation for future success for not only our children and their families, but definitely our communities. Now, I did make one promise in our email that I have a funny story and a funny thing to share. And it's been sitting over my shoulder this entire time. I don't know if you can see it right here, but the story that I shared via email was I went to a conference where they were doing a silent auction, and there was this dancing dinosaur that I just had to have. And I kept like just adding more money and adding more money and adding more money. And I got outbid. And then for the rest of the conference, I stalked the person who won. I found the person who won, and at like the Friday night, like party dance thing, whatever, I went straight up to her and I offered her cash money for this dancing dinosaur. So I have to bring it down and just share it with you. It says, "Roar, the one that I want." And let me see if I can make him dance. It keeps going. I'm obsessed with it. I like to dance. I like to have fun. I like to make people laugh. And Katie's daughter looks hilarious right now, staring at the, what on earth is she sharing? All right, with that, I am super excited to close our opening inaugural kickoff event with a very special guest from Chicago. Many of you have probably heard of the movie documentary, No Small Matter. And there was a particular woman, lady, childcare worker in that movie who has been inspiring many just like you and knows your plight and knows your concerns. And it gives me great honor to welcome or reintroduce Rachel Giannini, who is joining us back in Florida for, I think, maybe the third, fourth, fifth time, whatever it might be. So Rachel, thank you for joining us, and take it away.
Of course. So here's how this all came about. Holly reached out to me. Well, first of all, I love that I know like half of the people on this. It makes me so happy. That's how frequent I virtually am in Florida. Like soon as I saw Judith, I'm like, I know Judith. You've been in some of my workshops. Like this, it just like made me so happy. So Holly reached out to me and was basically like, hey, I'm doing this thing. And what turned out that should have been like a 5-minute call was like 45 minutes. And she's just telling me about this program. And I think we both cried at one point. There were chills. And it was this idea of, this is so right. This is so right. And the opportunity that is in front of all of you, I have no problem saying I am so envious. I could only wish that I had daughter. Hey.
She's saying hi to you.
Hi.
You can hi. Sorry.
No worries. Are you kidding me? I see a child and I'm like, yes. How is it going?
That's Aurora.
I'm sorry, focus, Rachel. But it was just this opportunity that is in front of you it is sincerely, I would like to say it's once in a lifetime, but it's not. This is just the beginning. And the idea of amongst this cohort, there's already over 200 hours. What does this look like in 2 years from now? What does this look like in 3 years from now? And because even though I despised math as a child, I frequently enjoyed as an adult. And the idea of 200 years times 20 kids in your classroom, how many of like that is outrageous, the number of children that has been impacted by you. That is huge because that is why you are here. So short of it, my name is Rachel Nini. If you've seen the early childhood documentary, No Small Matter, that was me. And very much, as Holly mentioned, I was on a journey. I never thought of myself as a leader. It's really easy when you hang out with children who can't reach the doorknob and rub their nose on you that you don't think you're a leader of much. And it wasn't until after the film wrapped and I went off to get my master's and I started engaging with educators all across this country that I realized a few things. One, I'm reading this book, The 360 Leader, because it is not about titles. It is not at all. It is about being passionate and driven and doing everything that you do with love and devotion and care. And wherever you are on this early ed journey, be it you just started, be it you left and you're about to leave, every single thing that you believe in is going to make a difference. It does not matter. So it is thrilling to just see the catalyst for what change is going to look like. And speaking of catalyst, I tell this story a lot. And I think that this is like, if you were to take a snapshot of the moment I realized how important it is that we advocate for early ed and how important it is to be a leader in this film, or excuse me, in this field, is we were doing a screening of No Small Matter in LA. Friends, like a legit movie theater. Like I got popcorn and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is huge. And 8 people came. And it ended and we started to do a Q&A and a gentleman raised his hand and said, I didn't know this was a problem. How come we don't talk about this? And it made me think for a minute. It's like, you're right. We're not on the cover of papers. There aren't marches for early childhood educators. And this is 2019. This is before everything changed. And it hit me that you can't fix a problem you don't know you have. Well, this last year shined a light on a really big problem, and everybody know we have it now. And it's amazing that what they are now realizing is that we need to invest. But here's the thing. We know we have a problem to fix. Who's going to fix it? And that's educators. Those are people who are knowledgeable, who are driven, but more than anything else, they are passionate. And I cannot think of a better, I'm going to cry. I cannot think of a better group of people than the people who are on this panel. You are all across Florida, and regardless of your age, your social economic status, your background, your history, your education, all of you championing young children. That is absolutely incredible. And the idea that, you know, we are all experiential creatures. You learn through experiences. This is going to be new for you. This is going to be interesting. I love that Crystal was like, I will not leave you in the land of uncomfort. Like, Crystal, yes, but we all have that path that we go through. And the idea of, in a few months, I want you to reflect and think about today and the nerves you were feeling and the baseline knowledge that you started off with and the possibilities that transpired over those few months. Because here's the thing, next year, there's going to be another group of people who are nervous, not sure what to share, wondering if their cat is going to jump up, wondering if there's going to be a dog that runs in, and the idea like, hi, yes, I see you, and I'm going to help you through this journey. You're more than just educators. You are now mentors. You're advocates for this field. You are advocates for children and their family. And that is only when real change is possible. And the one thing that I absolutely love is in the fact of this conversation, like you guys have been talking for a half hour, 45 minutes, and there are 53 things in that chat. I have been in workshops of thousands of people, and there's like 3 comments. You were all listening to each other. You were engaging with each other. You were championing one each and every single one of you. And that is so huge. I encourage you that you continue on that as you move forward. And I know, but I'm just saying it, that same passion and love that you have for each and every single one of your cohort members, put it out into the universe, put it out into your community, into your business leaders, into the parents, because that's when real change is possible. It's going to take all of us, and not just in the world of early ed. I mean, to right this ship, this is where the advocating comes in. This is when we share our stories, because your story, and I love this, your story is going to be used for advocacy. It's also going to be used to inspire others and inspire and reignite your own passion. It's amazing when you stop and think about how you got here, how incredible that journey is. There is no mundane path of becoming a teacher. Nobody comes out of the womb like, let's do circle time. Like, no, something happens. And as a result of that, taking a moment and acknowledging how utterly incredible it is that you are here right now, that is going to be that same level and excitement and energy that's going to push you forward. So I am basically going to like totally eavesdrop on all of your guys' workshops. Like, there's just gonna be this person in the background with like their screen off, because I'm gonna like totally butt in because I just want to be a part of this. I know I'm not invited, so I'm totally inviting myself. You
were absolutely invited.
Thanks, Holly. I look forward to seeing Chris and everybody in just a few, we're gonna say weeks, months, close enough. Let's round it to weeks in Florida. And I am so proud. I am so proud. I cannot wait to get off this call to go tell my husband, like, this is what it looks like when it's done right. And I think this is going to be a model, not just for Florida, but for other states, because believe me, I am going to be sending lots of folks Holly's way so that Holly and Chris can continue to talk about this amazing program that everybody has come together to develop, because friends, the change is real. And we know that. So I have something to share as you guys were talking, because I got excited. It's my favorite thing I own, except my wedding ring. Okay. So this is a cat. I made this sitting on the floor of my grandpa's basement when I was 4 years old. And my grandpa was the kind of man who, like, if you spilled a glass of milk, he was like a war veteran. He would get a little feisty. But for the man who was always really gruff, who never really gave you any like extra cookies or anything, he sat on the floor with me and he showed me how to use wood glue. And even though I used an entire 2 bottles, like, he championed it and was like, this is great. I am now 35 and I still have this. And it is a true representation of what does it look like when you spend 5 minutes with a kid. When you tell them like, you can do anything, and that's great, and encouraging creativity, like it doesn't go away. And although like bumps hit and there's rows and worksheets and workshops and lines and rules you have to follow, when somebody spends time encouraging creativity, it doesn't leave. So this is my cat. And I just wanted to share that.
Ooh, love the cat and love the play-based theme there that you wove into what that interaction meant for you. I think that the comment you were talking about and being down here in a couple of weeks is One Goal. If you have ever heard of One Goal, it's a big conference that happens in July in the Tampa Bay area. And Rachel is going to be one of the keynote speakers. So if you've never had the opportunity to meet her in person, which I have not, but hopefully this summer on 2 occasions, sneaky, I'm going to have that opportunity to meet her face to face instead of on the other side of a Zoom screen. This is really exciting. It's been my honor to meet each and every one of you today. You're going to have the opportunity to interact with all of these trainers. And then when we get together back, in early October, I think October 8th, I'll make sure to send you the calendar invite, is when our graduation ceremony is going to be. So I just want to echo that message that Rachel just shared about think back of the moment that we're right here, right now. And with that, I do want to allow the opportunity for any comments or questions from any of the members that are here today, whether you're one of the trainers or one of the participants, before we close out with Chris. Don't be shy.
Is anyone else feeling super emotional, or is it just me?
We all are. Yes.
Okay, it's not just me. I mean, and then the cat, Rachel's cat, just finished me off completely. So yeah.
Indeed.
Did you love it?
Yeah. It is adorable.
Love it.
I actually just took one of Rachel's trainings with her ASL, and I basically inspired everyone in my entire school to start incorporating it in their classrooms. And so far, they're like, really? Like the 4-year-old teachers were like, why didn't I think of this? And I'm like, well, why didn't you go to the training? Why didn't you take the opportunity? But I'll train you, I'll help you.
Yes.
My 1-year-olds, basically our three rules at our school are be safe, be kind, be helpful. And, you know, I've been doing the sign language for them forever. And so it's so funny because one of my parents, she was like, what does this mean? Like he came home just going like this at me. And I was like, he wanted to tell you that he was being helpful. And I was like, you know, I never actually thought to like tell my parents, this is what I'm teaching them, because it's been hard with the pandemic. Like we do talk every day, but like I never thought to say, oh, that's what this sign language means or whatever. So thank you for that. And I'm literally fangirling because I love you so much.
Oh my gosh, I love you. And that makes me so happy. Thanks for sharing that. Awesome.
I'm excited. Thanks.
So someone else, Holly, do you have anybody else who wants to say anything before we close?
I don't think so. I mean, unless someone wants to jump in.
I would just like to say thank you so much. I feel so privileged to be a part of this. I'm going into a new journey and kind of moving out on my own, but being part of this is really my, this is what I needed. And I thank you so much, even though
We're
really
honored that you joined us. We're honored.
Thank you.
It is. It's really exciting to be. I'm giddy, you guys. I'm just completely giddy. Just because it's at these different levels, right? Like what you do in the classroom with kids is at like this kind of micro level, but then we're talking about expanding into your centers and beyond into your communities. And the trainers that we have are experienced in each of those levels. So I'm giddy. I'm going to stop, Chris, and turn it over to you because I'm just, my
Well, thank
cheeks
you very
are like
much.
hurting because I'm smiling so much.
But what I love is, if y'all all remember when Holly introduced herself, she talked about she did not have early childhood background too much. Do you remember that? But what has she been talking about the whole time she's been on here? I've watched this evolution of this woman that I've known, you know, evolve. And I keep going, you are early childhood, Holly. I'm just telling you, you know, you might not realize it, but, you know, we're bringing you along and you're doing great. And to have this actually come to life. I want to mention Rachel because something, I don't know I ever told you this, Rachel. FLAEYC had Rachel the first time come to our conference way long ago. We did that and she came. And at that time we were having face-to-face conferences. So we had everybody in the room and I made it, you know, we had a big room and we had everybody eating and the hotel provided food for people, like it was a meal and such. And Rachel was doing her thing and she stood up there and did a great keynote. But the impact of what she was saying, over to the far left, there was the tables and there was hotel employees who were serving everybody. And this was an hour long and people were getting up there and getting ice cream sundaes and hamburgers and everything. And that's where the hotel staff were. And I started watching because I'm a person who stands in the back of the room and kind of watches, kind of observing everything. So I'm watching and there's this very tall man who was one of the servers and he was standing there. And he stood there for the entire hour and however long Rachel was speaking. And then the movie. So it wasn't just her speaking, he was also watching the movie, which is 70 minutes long. And he stood there and he watched the entire thing and did not move. He just watched the entire thing. All the other hospital, you know, hotel employees were talking and chatting. He stood there and watched the entire thing. And so when it was over, I actually went over there and asked him, you know, what was it that made him stand there and watch it and listen? And he explained to me that he and his family had come over from Africa. They had a restaurant and they were running that, but he had to work at the hotel to bring in extra money. But as he watched this, he thought, why aren't we doing something for the children and the families? This is what we need. This what this movie talked about. And this is what my family needs. Why aren't we doing something about it? And he got a lot out of it. And it was so profound for me to watch him do this. Then later on, this hotel had a little reward system, and they had asked me to find one hotel employee that served us to get this special recognition. It was a token kind of thing. I don't know what else they gave him. And so I thought about everybody who took care of us, who helped us with the conference and everything. And I decided he was the one who should get the token because he learned something and he watched it and it meant something to him. So they gave it to him and he was floored. He didn't expect anything like that. So I just want to tell you, Rachel, you made a difference to that man's life. You know, it was a profound thing. Here was someone who immigrated from Africa and he connected with you. He connected with everything that happened that night and it made a difference. So I want to say thank you for joining us in Florida.
Thank you for sharing that.
You know, well, it's just special. And I think you are our mascot.
I'll take it.
For this leadership, FLAEYC. And we absolutely love having you part of this and feel free to drop in anytime. And absolutely, you know, you are a star and we really appreciate it. So I won't keep everybody much longer because we've all got family and children and dogs and puppies and cats and whoever calling us, goldfish, whichever it is. Dancing dinosaurs, even dancing dinosaurs whose bottoms wiggle, really cute. But yes, it's Cinco de Mayo celebrations, Raquel. We want to make sure you get that one in there. But I am so grateful you're all here for the journey. I don't know if Holly will appreciate it, but I'll say, you know, anybody else who wants to join, we still have room. You know, we would love to bring on, we need to get going. We could take on 3 more people. So if you know anybody else who want to join us, we'll still take them. We really appreciate your dedication and I am very confident that you are going to gain a lot, but you're going to give a lot and we're going to learn from you. And I really appreciate every one of you with your talents and skills that you're bringing. Holly, they want the deadline for the 3 people. I knew I started something with that.
My way.
They need email real quick.
Our last piece is just for Friday. You are going to be with Chris as our introduction to leadership basics and continuous quality improvement. All of our webinars are going to be, I'd like to say lunch and learns, but that we schedule them over the lunchtime hour with the hope that that would be the easiest to your schedule. They are primarily on Wednesdays and Fridays for the entire month of May. I did consider Memorial Day weekend, so you have that Friday off. So in terms of us kickstarting all of this. So if you do have a couple of folks, you have my email address, send them my name. Ideally, we can get them onboarded in time for them to start on Friday. We do have an absentee policy. I put that in the email to you guys. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. But the whole idea is that we're going on this journey together, and that each of the pieces that we receive is following that social ecological model of self and your center and the community to really get you ready for the in-depth work that you're going to be doing with Crystal starting in June. So thank you all for being here. And Chris, final thoughts?
Yes, I also want to start, we're grateful that you're all here, and I know we're going to see wonderful things out of each one of you. And thank you, Rachel, for joining us. We really greatly appreciate it. Good night.
Feel free to come off mute and say bye, and thanks for being here and all of that.
Good night.
Good night. See you guys soon.
Good night, everybody.
Good
night. Good night.
Quick, before everyone goes, quick.
Good night. Good night. Have a wonderful weekend, or I'll see everybody on Friday.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.